Grading is an AI-powered teaching assistant specifically designed to help teachers with the workflow around grading. It gives rubric-aligned scoring and high-quality feedback for students. Now, there are three main ways teachers use GradingPal. First, teacher-only mode. Second, there's a student interface. Third, Google Classroom integration. You don't have to use all three. You choose the setup that fits your class and your working style. In this video, I'll walk you through each option, show you how it works, and help you decide which one makes sense for you. Here you're looking at a quick side-by-side comparison on our documentation help center page. You may already be there yourself. There's teacher-only mode, student interface, LMS integration, and then you get walked through the different features that show up in each one, right? So like in teacher-only mode, of course, there's no student's account needed. Yes, you would need student accounts for the student interface, and it's optional for LMS because students would technically be able to see most of what they need to see only on the Google Classroom side, but you could also have them have student accounts in GradingPal. Then we see, like, of course, teacher-only mode means that the teacher would upload all student work, right? That students don't have access to it. In the student interface, there would be a grading platform where the students can see their score and their feedback. And in LMS integration, the students would do all of that in Google Classroom. They would see information from GradingPal, but they would be able to see it in Google Classroom, right? And then the third row here, feedback delivery. In teacher-only mode, you would download a PDF and export the feedback to students. You could print it. You could put it in homework folders, for younger kids. You could email it to families, email it to the student if they're an older child. The student interface really at the core is an interactive platform. So if students are involved, then they'll be getting feedback and grading in the platform, and it's interactive. And then last, the LMS integration, the feedback would get delivered like through grade syncing with Google Classroom, something kind of like a PDF, but actually a link would be pushed to Google Classroom, and students would be like almost visualizing the GradingPal experience, but they'd be doing it from Google Classroom. And then really it's gonna be up to you to decide which is the best for you. If it's teacher-only mode, you have control and privacy. That's something to think about. If there's a student interface, then there's more engagement from the students, right? And they have more opportunities to use the feedback. And in Google Classroom, of course, if you're already using it, that might be a strong deciding factor for you there. So just after you set up a class, you'll get to a page that looks like this. It's encouraging you to make an assignment, but you can also start by clicking on students and trying to get students in the class. You can click add student, enroll a student, click add student. There are these different options for inviting students, but if you're thinking of it as teacher only, you would want to set up the roster yourself. You're going to enroll a student. You can put your email address if you want it to be teacher only. It really doesn't matter. And then you can put the student's first name there. And if you're keeping it teacher only, you can unselect, email an invitation to join the class, right? And when you click add a student, right? When I click add a student, see we have Brian's name there. If I added more students, they would be listed in alphabetical order. It says status pending, action send invite. You won't want to do that if you want to keep it teacher only. I often work in teacher only mode. It's a good way to practice using the platform. It's a good way to get started, okay? And it may be a good long-term solution for you, especially if you work with younger students or if you collect a lot of work on paper. In this mode, students don't need accounts. You manage the grading workflow from start to finish, and you would return the submissions, in some other way, like we said, exporting a PDF, maybe printing it, maybe emailing it. That also makes it the easiest way, like I said, to pilot GradingPal for the first time. If you're brand new to this, you would click new class and you'd create class manually. You'd give it a class name. Let's say I'm doing 7th grade ELA, grade level. Then you put the subject, choose your standard set. I'm going to say Common Core. You might do a state specific one, create class. Okay, so you're ready to create an assignment. New assignment. You'd look at these assignment types. Since it's ELA, I'm going to go ahead with writing and essays. Check out some of the other assignment types as soon as you can. And here, if I have an assignment, if I click continue, you'll see I can upload or paste it. But I'm actually going to go back and just write, in real time in front of you, just quickly create one with AI. I'll say, let's do a historical essay about what we can learn from Native American tribes in Georgia. I'll say throughout history about responsible resource use. And if I had some source material, I would upload it there as a PDF. For this demo, I'm just going to quickly get going here. The AI is going to work on generating a more detailed assignment description. You can see how it fleshed things out here. It says, in this writing assignment, you will explore the history of Native American tribes in Georgia and their methods for using natural resources responsibly. As a 7th grade student, so you can see here, it's got the topic, it's got the role, it's got description about what the writer is going to do to make sure that it's well done, right? Really good Good work from AI there quickly. Next, create rubric. If you have a rubric, you can upload it as a PDF or do it from Google Drive. If you're a repeat user in GradingPal, you could reuse an existing one that would take you over to like old assignments you have in GradingPal and give you the opportunity to use a rubric that you like using, or you can generate one with AI. You know, I said a moment ago Common Core, but then I made this about Georgia, so I'm going to say Georgia standards for 7th grade social studies. Generate rubric. Then you could take some time to look at each criterion. There's introduction and thesis statement. There's historical context and tribal identification. There's analysis of resource management practices. You know, this sounds really good. You could look in each criterion from side to side to see the progression of the skill levels. I'm going to keep going for now for the purpose of this video. Here you would choose a feedback style. I'm going to say glow and grow. I'm going to say, let's keep it concise. And I'm going to say really encouraging. Okay, continue. All right. Here's the part that connects back to the purpose of this video. In teacher-only mode, you will upload the submissions, right? In teacher-only mode, obviously students will not upload their work. So when you click upload submissions and you click from your device, you can click select files to add files from your device. You can also look to view the supported file types. We have PDFs, we have different Word documents, we have PowerPoints, different open source documents, text files, rich text, images. You can also connect from Google Drive like this, right? So easiest way, I would say, make things a PDF, you know, but all of these work. Just to give you a little example, I have my PDF here ready to upload. Now I'm going to attach that to student 1. Obviously, you would use the student's name probably, right? Assign submissions. Okay? Successfully assign submissions. When I finish set, I can choose to publish now. You can say AI working to grade the work. So you see GradingPal has finished reviewing it. It says teacher review required. That means I need to step in and look at it. I'll click here, view submission. Remember, in the teacher-only mode, only you can see this on GradingPal, right? So you're looking at the scoring. You can look at the different rubric levels. You can look at the reasoning and evidence for why a certain score was given in each rubric criterion. And you can click over to student feedback, which you want students to see, right? But they're not going to see it here in GradingPal if it's teacher-only mode. So let me show you what you would do next, right? You would click, first of all, if you want to change something, you need to edit it. Click in here to edit. You can make a change, save changes. Then you'd go back up here to actions. You'd say mark as reviewed. Then you could click return submission. But if it's teacher only, makes the most sense to export or download, right? Choose what content you would like to export to a PDF. Rubric-based scoring, student feedback, or both. In this case, I want both. Some teachers choose student feedback only to try to get the kid to not focus on the score yet. Just the feedback that they're getting. And I really like that idea. And so I'm really glad that GradingPal has built that option in here. In this case, I'm going to say both to show you what you get. And I'm going to export to PDF. So it generated a PDF. Here we go. Now you're looking at the PDF, the way it was downloaded. So we see the rubric scoring and we see the explanation and the evidence for why AI chose that score for that rubric criterion level. When I scroll down, I see the next criterion. And then at the bottom, we see the student feedback. So you see overall feedback there. You have a wonderful writing style and a great grasp of the concept of sustainability. Lovely, right? Now, I agree with this feedback, though. I didn't like the way the student only wrote about Native Americans in general, right? If you're living in Georgia and studying Native Americans in Georgia, you should be referring to specific details about the Cherokee and the Muskogee, right? So that makes sense. The strengths are here in one paragraph, and the areas of growth are there in one paragraph. That's because I chose that glow and grow style, right? I could have chose targeted or actionable or other styles. You'll see more about those in other videos, but this is what I chose, and this is how it's formatted for a child. So like I said, it's a PDF. You can print it. You can put it in your homework folders for younger kids. You can email it to families or email it straight to the students for older children. GradingPal also has a student interface, and I want to show you that now. In the student interface, students submit their own work and they can view their feedback online. This approach works best for middle school, high school, or higher education classrooms with regular access to devices. I'm going to go ahead and show you that next. You can invite students to your class using a class code or an email. I'm going to email an invitation. After a student clicks the link in their email, they'll get to this page and enter their email address to sign up. Then the student will get this email back in their inbox, invites them to sign in to GradingPal. When they sign in, they get the chance to complete their profile. I'm just going to make it my name right now. Obviously, you'd be working with a student. Okay? And there we go. I'm now logged in as a student as well. When I head back over to the teacher account, you can see that I have the student in there. I'm going to go to assignments. For you, you would see the student's email you entered and then the name as they signed themselves up. Now I'm going to click over to assignments. I'm going to create an assignment and we'll head back over to the student account and you'll see how it shows up. I'm going to create that same kind of an assignment that I made in the teacher only account a moment ago. So I clicked help me create one. So I said something like, let's write about how Native Americans in Georgia used resources responsibly Generate assignment. There's the assignment. Click create rubric. I'm going to generate with AI. I'm going to say Georgia Standards of Excellence, grade 7, generate rubric. We could look at the different criterion and criterion levels. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to click continue. I'll click that glow and grow style of feedback again, just like I did in the first video. And I think I said concise and encouraging. Continue. Okay, now I still have the option to upload student work, but we're wanting to show you how students can be attached. So I'm going to click students will upload their work. Okay. It says students can submit from their dashboard once published. So I'm going to click finish setup and we'll see how that student account that I set up sees this assignment. Finish setup. Okay. So the assignment was published successfully. There's no submissions yet, of course. I can still see the assignment details and the rubric, but no submissions because we need to migrate over to that student account that I set up and see how it looks over there. Now we are back in my student account that I've set up. You see the title there. You see status not started. Okay, I'm going to click on the assignment. Okay, I see the description. Students can also see the rubric. This is very good. So they know what's expected of them before they start working. I like how the rubric displays for students there. And just like you did over in the teacher version, they would click upload submission. They'll either have it in one of our supported file types from their device or they'll attach from Google Drive. To keep things consistent, let's just upload from a PDF like I did earlier when I was in the teacher account. Okay, so I'm gonna upload that same PDF for this student in the interactive view. Okay, you can see that it's like locked now, right? It says maximum attempts 1 reached. You're only allowed to submit 1 time, okay? We'll talk more about that in later videos. But now there's really nothing left for the student to do here. Let's bounce back over to the teacher side and see what it looks like over there. Now we are back over in the teacher account. We can see the student's work was graded. We can view the submission. You've seen the rubric scoring and the student feedback before. I'm going to kind of skip through that part pretty quick. I will mark as reviewed, and then I will return the submission. That will allow us to go over to the student side and see what it looks like for them. You can see in blue up here, it says return to student. Back on the student side, we see the same assignment page, and this time we see view graded submission. Assignment has been graded, view graded submission. When we click there, we see a screen for the student that looks very much like the teacher's side, right? Now, you don't see here for the student the evidence of why they scored the way they did. That was all there for a teacher. But we have the feedback just as it was for the teacher. The overall feedback, the strengths, and the areas for growth. Okay, the third and final way to use GradingPal is to be LMS connected. I'm going to click import from Google Classroom. When I do that, you'll see that I have a 7th grade ELA class there. It says continue. Okay. You do have to set up the grade level again, 7. Very similar to the class setup in GradingPal without the LMS connection. You know, you're going to name your topic, okay? You're going to name your standard set, all right? Your time zone, import classes. Now, we can see down here, this 7th grade ELA class says LMS connected. I don't want to confuse you, but I think it might be helpful to see that I also have this 7th grade ELA class that I had made a moment ago, right? You've seen earlier in this video that's not LMS connected. So that's the difference. Let's click into this one I just made in Google Classroom. All right, this is a very important point here. If you want GradingPal to work well with Google Classroom, you really want to start assignments in GradingPal. If you started an assignment over there in Google Classroom, we all know we could create an assignment in Google Classroom, right? It would sync this way to GradingPal, but the scoring and the feedback just wouldn't work too well. I strongly encourage you to start assignments in GradingPal and work towards Google Classroom rather than the other way around. So I'm going to click here, new assignment. Just like you've seen me doing before, I'm going to create that same assignment, writing in essays. Look, you could import from Google Classroom, but I strongly recommend that you make it here in GradingPal first. So I'm going to do it the same exact way that I had. Okay, same setup I've done before. See the assignment description again, create rubric. Okay, you could take the time to look at the rubric. In this case, I'm going to move us along. I'll choose the same feedback styles before, glow and grow. We'll make it concise. We'll make it encouraging. Okay, the recommendation here now is that students submit their work in Google Classroom, right? You've started the assignment in GradingPal. We can finish setup here in GradingPal. And then we're going to go over to the student side in Google Classroom to submit the assignment. Okay, now I'm back over in Google Classroom on the student side, and you can see Paul Shirk as the teacher, right? Paul Shirk posted a new assignment via GradingPal. I'm going to click on that. Okay, looks very much like Google Classroom normally does, right? So we can view the assignment here. You could click this link to view the assignment in GradingPal as well, but it's going to look pretty much like this and like what you saw on the other side. And when you add or create, you know, the student could do their work in Google Drive or they could upload a file. I've been doing a PDF, right? Let's stick with that way. We can do that even from Google Classroom. Upload a file here. Okay, so you see my work there has uploaded. I'm going to click turn in. It says turn in your work. You sure? One attachment will be submitted. Yep, let's do it. Okay, now I'm ready to go back over to the teacher side and see what's happening in GradingPal. Back in GradingPal, in the teacher side, we can see the student work just like we have in the past. We can see the rubric scoring and the evidence for the rubric scoring. We can see the feedback. All right, let's go ahead and let's click mark as reviewed. I'm going to click return submission. Notice you still have the option to export or download, but we're going to go back over to the student side and see what it looks like for them. We're back in Google Classroom on the student side, and now under the student's work, you see link, right, back to GradingPal. When you click on that, the student is being linked back to GradingPal. They see their work, they see their rubric scoring, and they see their feedback. So in this video, I showed you 3 ways to use GradingPal. You can do teacher only, the students can be connected in GradingPal, or you can do the Google Classroom integration. Choosing a workflow comes down to how your students submit work and how you want to share feedback. If you already use LMS integration with Google Classroom, then students would submit their own work there. Teacher uploaded submissions are not available in LMS connected classes. Each option is designed to work well within its own structure. So the key is choosing the one that matches your classroom setup. Most teachers start with 1 class and 1 assignment. Choose the workflow that fits how you already work and let GradingPal support you from there. GradingPal is built to meet teachers where they are and grow with them over time.